Good morning, everybody. I'll extend a warm and loving welcome to you all, both here in the church and in the virtual world. And I'm being rather boastful about my church this morning. We're looking extra beautiful. We had a wedding here yesterday, and the church is draped in lilacs and mauves, and there's confetti still on the floor. And we had a fantastic time. And those of you in the virtual world, and maybe Dorothy may know her, Reverend Leslie Knight married, or she's no longer Knight, but she married Alistair Moulton yesterday, so she's now Reverend Leslie Moulton. So she changed her name straight afterwards. She announced it to her family, so she's not going to be known as Knight anymore. But we had a lovely wedding, socially distant, 30 people. It was a bit more cramped in the garden when we did the photography, but we won't talk about that. And there was a helicopter flying over the reception, so we won't talk about that either. But it really was a fantastic time. Where's possible, people wore masks, and people are wearing masks in the church now that can. And we're hopefully things will change by the 19th here at Wimbledon, and hopefully in the real world as well. Everything will change, but we can't make promises, whatever. Quite a few people said they heard yesterday that the government may still insist people wear masks in certain places, but we wait and see. We won't talk about that. We're here now for a wonderful spiritual divine service with our wonderful medium, Dorothy. Good morning, Dorothy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And hello to everyone and good morning.
Good morning. So, my friends, can I ask Dorothy to open our meeting with prayer?
Thank you. Let's come together with a sense of peace, harmony, and the beauty within the silence. Father God, we come together in faith, knowledge, wisdom, and our own individual power to come to you and to sense your unconditional love, to know that each one of us has love, is able to express love, receive love, give love. And so coming together in this wondrous love, we know that communication with the world of spirit is also within this power, this communication, this connection of love. And so we ask for those who are in that spiritual world beyond the veil to come forth and be with us now. But we are spiritual. We are on a spiritual path. And so we will take this service an opportunity to feel this spirituality within, to feel this guidance, to know this wisdom that comes from you. And we leave everything in your care and keeping to bring forth that care, that wisdom, that knowledge, what we're able to receive today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Dorothy. We're now going to the part of the service where we pray for those who are sick and in suffering with many, many ailments. And we've got a list here this morning, which have come in through the church website, and any other names that come on through the morning, I will add it to the page. And this morning, we think of Andy Ward, my own Jackie, Kelly and Stephen, Rachel Davis, who's had a small minor procedure done, Jill, Amber, Lou's dad, James, Ashley, another Rachel, Jamie Watts, a dog that's called Holly that's making its transition to the spirit, Bernie, Marion, Bridget and Frida, June and Dave, Christo's family, Rob, another Jackie, Babs, who's one of our church members, unable to be here. She had very noisy neighbours last night and she didn't get a sleep at all. Shirley and Amber, another Amber, who has a brain tumour. And we ask that God's love, prayer and blessing be sent out to all those names that have been read out here this morning. And also perhaps those names we haven't read out this morning that are deeply inscribed in our own hearts and our minds, that we keep them in our thoughts. And at any time, contact us here at the church, and we always put a name in the healing book, either through Spiritual Psychics TV or through many other aspects that you can contact us through. Can we now say the serenity words, which Richard will put up on screen? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So mote it be. Can I mention those who can, and I do emphasise those who can, if you wish to donate to the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, if you can do that through our PayPal account, and it is www.paypal.com/PayPalMe/LAD promotions. Is a fundraising part of the church, and all donations greatly received I thank you for. And I'd like to thank everybody from last week's service and last week's donations for what you have donated. Thank you all very much. And please only donate that which you can afford. We're not asking for any more. I'm not going to be one of those American evangelists that want all your money. There is a minister out in America, and he said, just make your name out to dollar and I'll get your money. So now we're going to say hello to a few names on screen, and maybe Dorothy, you'd like to say hello to a few people if you see the names as well. Do forgive me rubbing my nose. I've got a touch of hay fever this morning and my nose is running. Sorry, not very good camera work. Joanna Lewis, good morning and welcome. Irene Renshaw, good morning and welcome. Ian Mason, good morning. Lovely seeing you yesterday, Ian. Someone called Ashley Robinson. I think I know that name. How are you, Ashley? We've been talking about you and playing rugby. Nicola Lloyd, good morning and welcome. Tony Wright, good morning. Christine, good morning and welcome. Maxine George, good morning and welcome. From Western Australia. I won't do an Australian accent, but good day to you. Lyndall DeMere, good morning. From California, I've got friends in Turlock, and I love the place. Alison Barton, good morning and welcome. Sue Walls, good morning and welcome. Diane Bowman, welcome. Perhaps, Dorothy, you'd like to say hello now?
Yes, hello to you all. Hello, Ian there. Good to see that you're on this morning. Good morning to you, Ashley, and wonderful.
Jackie Brindley, good morning. Eric, good morning and welcome to you. Couple more. Christy Morass, good morning, Christy. And Terry Wall, good morning, Terry. I hope you're well. Hope you're well indeed. I think we'll leave it at that, Richard, for now. And George, George, one of our members. Good morning, George. Hope you're feeling well. Thank you. We're now going to ask Dorothy for the reading. Afterwards, she will go into the address. Dorothy, I'm going to mute this end of the church.
Okay. So I have a reading for you from Silver Birch, A Voice in the Wilderness, the words of Silver Birch. Under the title of Thou art limitless and infinite. O great white spirit, thou who art the Lord and arbiter of all life, and in whose kingdom there is no death. We seek to reveal thee who art the infinite spirit that broodeth over all things, that doth reveal thyself in the mighty panorama of the operation of natural law. We reveal thee as the great spirit of perfect justice and wisdom, who is immanent in all life and who is expressed in every living, breathing thing. O great white spirit, thou art limitless and infinite, beyond the understanding of thy children, but yet thou art known because thou art seen in every expression of life, whether it be life in the planes of matter or life in the realms of spirit. Thou art heard in the song of birds. Thou art seen in the twinkling of the stars, in the glistening of the raindrops, in the flash of the lightning. Thou art in the murmur of the brook, in the drone of the bees, in the nodding of the trees. Thou art in the roll of thunder, in the roar of the mighty sea. Thou art in the rising sun and in the pale reflection of the moon. Thou art in every phrase of life, But thou art closest in the human spirit as it stirs itself to reveal thy love and thy goodness in acts of service, self-sacrifice and idealism. And we, who are thy messengers from the realms of the higher life, seek to reveal the operation of laws which have been known to a few in the days gone by, but which now are being revealed to those who can discern thy plan beyond the confines of matter. We seek to reveal the existence of thy spirit as it expressed within all thy children. Released from the bonds of matter and now operating in the greater world, we return according to thy law to demonstrate that love continues and seeketh its own to bring comfort and assurance, guidance and hope, knowledge and inspiration, wisdom and truth. In the rending of the veil and in the uniting of love, thy children of earth may learn to recognize that great power of the Spirit which is latent within them, that they may be inspired and that they may be led to dedicate their lives to thy service and to the service of the ones who suffer, so that they may express thy divinity in their daily lives and exhibit thy spirit to all. In that spirit we come back, so that we may render service whenever we can, seeking only to strengthen the bonds that bind all peoples together and make them realize the unity that is beyond and behind all life. May that power express itself in all those channels who seek to become thy temples on earth. This is the prayer of thy Indian servant who seeks to serve. My friends, are we the same? Are we alike that Indian servant? The Indian service who desired through the mediumship, being the guide of Maurice Barbanel all that time ago, had that desire to hold his or the consciousness of progression at a point where this wondrous, this amazing philosophy could be brought forward to us in very simple terms. And I love those simple terms because, yes, the simplistic way of looking at the rising of the sun, seeing the twinkle, the wonderment of the stars at night, the setting of the sun, the flowers that reign within our gardens, within gardens that we may walk that are part of that which we go and visit as gardens. Maybe that you like to go to a particular garden or you have a garden of your own, but seeing the beautiful flowers as they blossom and the bees, the insects, and finally perhaps looking at the birds that fly in the air, the birds that come, perhaps just sit on a bird table looking at us, perhaps that bird that sits on our window shelf, perhaps that bird that we actually feel as if it's that bird coming as our loved one. That assurance there from Silver Birch that we do have this knowledge, we do have this belief. Each one of us, we wouldn't be here this morning, would we? We wouldn't be coming together if we did not have this true belief within us that there is more, so much more to life than the everyday. But of course, thinking about life, what an important day today is. We have a Wimbledon's final this afternoon. And of course, Wimbledon, yes, you may well be very close to. Perhaps you'll hear some roars, cheers, I don't know. But I have been to Wimbledon and I've watched Wimbledon and all those matches on the TV just recently. But what a day for a final. What a day for a final for England, the England team, football. But of course, we live in society now where many nations come together. We live in a society where we now express this oneness, this beauty of coming together as one, whatever nationality, whatever country we originated from, perhaps even down to our parents, our grandparents, that ancestral line. But we come together in unity. How do we come together? How do we express ourselves? What is the energy that binds us together? What will be the energy that we need for this final this afternoon or the final this evening, in its positivity, to generate in its synchronicity that there will be a win. There will be a win that is a reward, a win that is absolutely necessary and desired. Pushing away negativity is so key to all aspects of our lives. Negativity which brings about doubt. And so for those players this afternoon and those players this evening, they need to not have any sense of doubt, any doubt in their belief that they are able to win, because whatever the outcome may well be, we are all, my friends, winners. We're all winners in many different aspects, winners within our lives. And the most aspect or strong aspect I would like to share with you today is what I hold so dear for me. When my grandmother passed, I was 16, and that was a long time ago. I'm not going to give away my age this morning. You perhaps might want to guess. No, don't do that. But a long time ago, I don't know a lot about her for evidence of what she used to do. I mean, I remember her knitting. I remember the kitchen. I remember her singing in the mornings. I remember her singing to a high note, which was quite amazing, really, because she wasn't the best at singing, but you know, she would just hit that high note with such joy, such pleasure. But I remember her. But when the first reading, when the first evidence of her survival came through, she didn't talk about her life. She talked about something that had happened just a few days previously in my life. It was something to do with my daughter. And my daughter had been riding a horse. She wanted to go horse riding, and no, she wasn't very good. And she didn't quite get the idea as she was going into this canter. I think that's what you call it. She wasn't really moving with the horse at the time, but that was fine. But my grandma, she talked about it. She said, Dorothy, you watched your daughter on that horse. And she described where we were. She gave the evidence of the place, the time, and all that happened in that moment. So I knew how close she was. So my thoughts today, as I bring this together, within those words of Silver Birch, because it was so clear, it actually embraced every aspect of what our spiritual teaching is all about. First and foremost, that we can see the Great Spirit in all nature, in the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, all aspects of nature, the birds, the wind in the trees, all that's around us, which is bringing forth our earth existence. And then that we know that Spirit comes forth to instruct us. We're never alone, whether it's through mediumship, through our own loved ones, as my grandmother did, giving me that evidence of how close, not about her life when she was here, but her life now. Her life because she's just that thought away. And your loved ones are just that thought away. You are able to bring forth their message. You're able to sense and feel their message of love and their message through the mediumship, because they do not die. And in that we know again, and we can reaffirm today that we cannot die. And if we have eternal life, then we can be truly blessed in the moment to live our lives to live our lives fully, without fear, without the fear of death, but without fear, and actually appreciate who we are and live fuller and greater and more purposeful lives. And then finally, that we often say, well, what is the purpose of life? Why are we here? And Silver Birch always gives that answer with such clarity and vision. He came back, or he was there within those seances through that mediumship with Maurice Barbanel in the both aspects that I have proclaimed. But the final aspect, that we are here to look after, first and foremost, ourselves, to find out who we truly are, first and foremost, but then to give service. So if we give service for those tennis players, we will applaud them, whoever wins, for their opportunity to work hard for what they have believed in. For this evening, that team, and all teams, both teams, for them to believe in what they've worked for. But for us, also encouraging them, we encourage those around us for all aspects of life. We'll give a friendly word, we'll give a hug when we're able. We'll make a phone call, send an email, we'll send a text. We'll say, hey, how you doing? And I am here for you. Call upon me when you are in trouble. Call upon me when you need to share your experiences so that I can show love to you, that I can encourage you, and I can say truly, I'm here for you, come what may, ever the circumstance, to love, to support, and to just be here always to serve you and serve mankind and consciousness. We are six sensory beings, my friends, so we're more than able to appreciate this service and this opportunity to serve. Thank you, my friends, for sharing this time with me. Bless you.
I don't know what I've done here. Sorry. Okay. Dorothy, thank you very much for the service, the address. It was wonderful, really was. And it's always lovely hearing Silver Birch speak. Now we're coming to that part of the service where our medium will demonstrate the gifts of the Spirit, bringing the two worlds a little closer. What I would ask of you out in the virtual world, please remember there's a 15-second delay, sometimes a little bit longer. So if the medium says, I've got a man here with a parrot on his shoulder and a wooden leg, and you accept that and you understand it, please say, yes, I understand that. And if it's a no, please also say no and what you're saying no to. So it's basically saying yes to explaining what you're saying yes to and explain what you're saying no to. To those in the church, if you get a message here, I can either relay it from here via to you, or if you wish to come up here and speak yourself, you're more than welcome to, as long as you keep 12 foot away from me. No, if you want to come up here, you're more than welcome to. So we're going to hand over to Dorothy. We'll now demonstrate the gifts of the Spirit. And please answer up clearly and explain yourselves clearly. And remember, a 15-second delay. Dorothy.
Thank you, Ray, and I will be aware of that delay, and I'm just getting myself from the philosophy into the energy of connection for your messages, for those who wish to come and be with me. And so I know first and foremost, I've got Dad here. I've got a gentleman, he just says, hello, I'm Dad. I'm a strong character. I like to have the last word when we had a discussion. I sometimes used to, I know that I like the railway. I'm quite a connoisseur on the railway. I have actually in time built a little layout So this might be back in your childhood, that we go back, that perhaps Dad liked the train set. Oh, hi, Catherine. You've just said hi, Dorothy. Had a train set, would have laid this out. This might be something to connect to a grandchild as well. Perhaps he's watching, because we're talking about memories now. Perhaps you've set out a train set for your child. So this is Granddad coming in, watching you with, I feel that you may well be a lady here. So Mum with a son. Your son's got a train set. I'm just seeing if anybody can understand any of this. Dad is here. I know he suffers with a heart condition. I know he's making me feel that, oh, there's Bernard. That may not be his name, but there's a Bernard in the family somewhere, or I want to shorten Bernard to Bernie. There may be a Bernie that's in your family somewhere. I've got someone saying my grandfather loved his trains. So if I'm working, please, with Jade, can anybody other than Jane please understand Dad in the spirit world? So if he's grandfather, he would have loved the trains, and I've got someone that may well have working with a train set now. Just waiting to see if it's just going to be Jade. Yes, I can. Right, okay, then now, shall I just work with yourself, please? Because, Richard, because I believe that perhaps here that what's going on is Dad is reminiscent of work. Would you understand a train set that goes with you then from one room going into a second room? Yes, that's what I want. So he's not showing me. So everybody, I'm just working, please, with Richard here. I'm not then being with your children or children now. This is a memory, and he just confirmed. And you can take Bernie, which is and the heart condition. That's absolutely perfect and right. You know, please, Richard, that he liked to have the last word.
That is correct, especially when we talked about spiritualism.
Good. And you understand, please, that he would be insistent on that, but he also had a great, right, I feel with him a great sense of compassion. I feel a great sense of patience. I feel a great sense of being poorly, very poorly, right before he passed.
That is correct.
And I also know that it was a shock to him, that he appreciated that his heart condition was as serious as it was.
Yes, that's correct.
He's here. He's here for you today to almost like, I want to love those trains. I love working with that train set because it was a pastime. It's a time when we had fun.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And it was a time when we built it from nothing. This is what he wants to say. You see, we built the train set from nothing. It started off almost as if something came from a jumble sale or something came from a small shop. It was never going to be, to start with, what it turned out to be. See, we've got this love of trains, but then we bring it into our life and we start off with perhaps just a couple of engines, a little bit of track, but it built up to something really quite complex, quite a lot.
Yes.
Yes. And so, in other words, small beginnings became quite a enterprise. And I want to use the word enterprise because that's what you're doing today. It started with just a thought. It started with, shall we do this? Shall we see where this goes? Shall we see if this would work? And it started, and I'm going to say, with humble beginnings.
That's correct. It's now turned into a nightmare. I'm joking.
Well, Dad is not calling it a nightmare, because you see, he would never let you give up on anything. He'd always say, son, keep going with what you started. Dad never gave up on anything. And sometimes it could be, as he calls it, almost something like an obsession.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. And so, you know, and he's laughing. He wants me to laugh because, you know, yeah, take the good. It's like, take the good with the bad. Get over it. Get over it. Get on with it. Because that's how often he would sweep. You know, if you tried to say something when you were growing up, if you tried to say, look, Dad, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not sure, will it work? He'd just sweep it under. You see, he's much more forgiving and much more able to listen now. But when, you know, you were growing up, it wouldn't have been something that he would have just dismissed it. It's as simple as that.
He was a very positive man.
Yeah, he just dismissed it. You can do that. Well, you know, we can sort that. No problem. And so in everything that you're doing, he's going to come in and he's going to assist. We'll just get it sorted. I know that there is technologically, I know that there is something that you're looking at the moment, a new venture. And so I want to just leave that a real joy. In other words, that what you're doing is moving forwards. Always moving forward. There's always going to be better. It's always going to be more complex.
Oh, it means more work.
Yeah, well, there's more aspects to be embraced. Please have Dad's love. Bernie must be in spirit, please.
No, the Bernie I was thinking of is on the earth plane.
Right. Then I know I want to say that you are supportive of Bernie.
That is correct, yes. She's going through a rough time. I felt,
please, that this is significant that Dad brings in Bernie. All right, so it felt as if he holds Bernie with him. So I go back and say, what are you meaning? And it's because he holds Bernie as a friend to you, as someone that is there to be supported, and someone that you just log in with every so often, just check he's okay. And so thank you for doing that, and just check in again with him, because that's always appreciated, both sides of life. All their love, all Dad's love, and thank you so much for working with me.
Thank you, Dorothy. Bless you.
Thank you, darling. Now, Jade, okay, thank you for putting your post up there that your grandfather loved his trains. And so take also the love from Granddad there, because you're connecting in the energy of loving those trains. And I want to say to you, actually, Jade, that I know that you have a memory of actually this feels like a day outing. So I don't know if you understand this, Jade, that as you come into my awareness, I believe that you also would remember going with your granddad on a train journey. And this would be something that you've been thinking about perhaps just recently. And it may be that you're also planning right now an excursion of some kind. So take also, please, Jade, your grandfather's love, because of course he comes forward as a father as well. So as I just let these gentlemen just step back, I now know that I have a lady here, and I've got a lovely lady, and she's just getting me to settle myself, because she would love to sit in her chair. This armchair of hers is absolutely divine. I've got lots of beautiful cushions. I know that she embroidered. I know that she would have knitted. I know that she sits in this chair looking at a small TV. The TV was small because she didn't want anything too big, too cumbersome in her room. She does feel like grandma here. I don't know if I want to actually say nan or nanny rather than grandma, but I feel pleased that there is also a term of endearment that you would understand if you could just come in to work with me. The most significant part, please, are Nat, will you work with me? You can understand. Because the most important part of this is sitting in this chair looking at this little TV. And I know, please, that you would have sat and watched these programs with her. Is that right, please? So I need to know, please, if you understand the small TV. This is really important. And I also, and also Helen, right, I know that I also have a cat here as well. I know that I've got
Dorothy, I've got somebody here in church who can understand what you're saying.
Bless you. So what I need, please, with all of you, I do need this. And I'm not sure I'm seeing the colour, but I'm keep hearing tabby cat. Can anybody, please, the person in church there, can you understand the tabby cat?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I want. So I want the tabby cat, and I'm going to ask for one. Right. There was also, please, a budgerigar. And I'm going to make you smile because, you know, we don't want to feel unhappy about the budgerigar, but I've got a feeling that the budgerigar was actually a little bit in the afterlife for a little while before we all realised that this, yes, okay, so I'm in church then, thank you, Ray, because I want to have this, you know, that's fine, this budgerigar's quite happy. That it's just that, you know, I sat on my perch for a little while, as stiff as, but, you know, everybody's very, very busy. This is a very busy time, please, because I want to also know that my lovely lady, is it a lady in church, please?
Yes, her name's Sharon.
Hello, Sharon. I know, please, my lovely lady Sharon in church. I know, please, that birthdays were always celebrated with your, and I'm going to feel I want to say Nan. Does she understand now? Because it's not grandma, it's not nanny, it's definitely Nan. Now, also, please, Sharon, you would have taken flowers to Nan.
Yes.
Yes. And you would have actually taken daffodils in the springtime.
Can't remember that.
Right. Okay, because I want daffodils. So would you understand, Sharon, that you love the daffodils and you've got daffodils in your garden?
Yes.
Yes, that's where they need to be. All right. So Nan says, I've been looking at your daffodils. You didn't necessarily bring them to me, but I watch and look at your daffodils in your garden. And you pick just a few to bring them indoors, and then the rest are they're left out in the garden. Now, also, please, Sharon, I know you see a robin in the garden.
Yes.
Yes. And so Nan brings a beautiful robin. So Nan is here. So thank you, everyone that has said, you know, and do know that Spirit is very close to you. But my lady here is Nan, is with Sharon today, and wants you to smile, Sharon, because life has become more busy than you ever imagined. Is that okay to say that?
I understand.
Life has become more busy. You see, a pandemic is on, but you've actually been much more busy, and you expected people around you have been going, oh, you know, we've got time to sit and we've got time to do the
It's a bit of
things
an
that we.
understatement. She's been so busy, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know,
What I know of Sharon.
it's Sharon, it's not tiresome, because you see, you don't let any situation around you become tiresome, and your nan never did either. Your nan was she says, I was a busy bee.
Yes, she was.
I'm a busy bee, and I never took breath, you know. And so she's going to make you smile, Sharon, because she took a breath when she passed. She took a breath, and she said,
no, we understand that.
Yeah, she took a breath, and she. In actual fact, I'm going to say, Sharon, that you were all sitting around her waiting for her to take that breath. And it was like, well, would you like to take that breath now? It's all right, Nan. Off you go. We're happy. She's got a wonderful sense of humour.
Yeah, no, I was there at the lady's passing as well. So
yes.
double.
Yeah, you know, I can take my last breath in a moment.
She didn't want to go.
In a moment. I'll
do things out before she went.
I'll do this in a moment. And I'll just ponder on lots of thoughts. And you see, the beauty was that she had been played music. She didn't actually want the conversations to stop, because everybody was telling her what they're doing and how it's all going to be. And so just please, everyone, rest assured that I listen to all your conversations still now. And I bring I bring a sense of peace. I bring a sense of harmony, which is needed right now. And I'm just going to say, look, take a pause, all of you. Take a pause, take a breath, and just savor the moment as I savor each moment with you all. But Sharon, you are so busy. Okay, what do you just want to say to just bring this to a close with you, Sharon? Right, she's making me clap my hands. So I know that if I just say to you, you've either achieved status or something within education, something with either a certification, there's something that you have obtained or passed, or but what you've worked upon, you've finished. That's what I feel I want to say. Well done.
That's the nan's grandson.
Right. Okay.
Great grandson.
Right. Because I know I've been watching, and I want to say,
he's working hard with his schooling and college.
Okay. Because he has listened, she says. He's listened to everybody telling him that now is not the time to go out and do, you know, trivial pursuits and on a motorbike or whatever. Get your head down, get studying, and it's all come together.
Very true. Very true.
Lovely. So I know, Sharon, that Nan could go on talking for the next half an hour.
Yes, she could.
So I'm going to say to her that we've heard her loud and clear, and we appreciate so much all of her love, because she says, I know about giving service, and I know all of you give service, and it's absolutely wonderful. There's a stained glass window somewhere, which if you look later, I believe she'll create the sunlight coming through.
Okay, we've got a stained glass window behind me, so we'll watch.
So she is going to be that light that comes in. Thank you so much for working.
And I just say for myself, I knew the lady you're talking about is Ivy Davis. She used to work at the SAGB as a medium years ago. She gave an address either here or the greater world on daffodils being like trumpets from the spirit and giving out messages.
Oh.
And I heard her give it as one of the most passionate addresses I ever heard from her. And she was a character, and she did like to know what was going on, didn't she?
Okay, good. Well, then that
was wonderful. I knew we were close friends for over 30 odd years. And it's Sharon is her granddaughter, and one of her grandchildren. She's here in the church.
Then the daffodils are very significant, and the daffodils
Yeah.
will.
And Sharon's got daffodils in her garden, and Nan had them. Ivy had them as well. Yeah.
So Ivy is here, and those daffodils will continue to bring forth that congratulations, the wonderment of who you are, what you're doing, and of course, to bring forth this philosophy that we cannot die.
Yeah.
We cannot die. Yeah. So
she was passionate in that. She was a minister and a medium and especially a healer. You had healing of her. You fell asleep in the nicest way. She was my daughter Rachel goes, Ivy. She was cuddly. she was.
Well, it's going to be different. It's going to be.
She could tell you off if she had to.
Well, I believe she might tell me off now because she's saying get on with the next message. She said it's lovely, Ray and everybody. Well. Yes.
All right, Dorothy, I'll let you go.
This is all lovely, darlings. This is all lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
But she says, I've got a gentleman waiting here. And she's going, right. You see her passion and compassion. She's actually got this gentleman by the hand. She's actually leading him into my space because I know here I've got a gentleman. I know, please, that he has passed because of COVID. I know, please, that the circumstances around his passing was very, very difficult. I know that everybody that was around that could not be with him was so fearful. And I do feel this is Dad. And I do feel, please, that I've got his daughter that I need to speak to that will understand this absolute fear, because what he first of all wants to say is all is fine. I was fine. This is really important that he lets you know, darling, that all is fine. Now, where do I feel? Now I've got come up on my screen. Helen can take this. Helen, if you can just continue to respond, would you understand, please, that this is right? Okay, so I'm just bringing this forward. I feel I need to speak to a young lady. Dad passed with COVID. And he needed just Ivy to bring him into me because of the circumstances around his passing. Can anybody understand, please? Terry, bless you, my darling. Okay, first of all, I want to say to you, Terry, Dad is fine. I do feel as if I'm around London. I keep feeling, is that correct? That this is that he lived in London. This is around London or in the vicinity of London. Right, okay. So what I've got is COVID and I've got London.
Dorothy, there's two possible people here. There's myself, my father-in-law had a COVID type condition when he passed, and there's a lady, Jackie, in the church, strange enough. No, Joanne, sorry, wrong lady, who's also putting her hand up. Right,
what I want, please, is definitely COVID. I definitely want going into hospital for 5 or 6 days prior to Dad's passing, and I do feel this is definitely Dad. I want your person there, please, to be daughter.
No, but my wife, Jackie, her dad went into hospital. We think it was COVID. It was just before the first lockdown, and he went into hospital 5 days before he passed.
I want 5 days, please. I want COVID.
And he was in London.
And a London. That's what I want. that would be perhaps keeping that Ivy brought him in because of connection.
He knew Ivy.
Yes, because of connection, and also the fact that they were holding hands. And would you please understand a somewhat of nervousness with this gentleman? Would you understand, please, that right, what he's saying to me is, because he gave me the COVID, that part, because of COVID gave him the fear. That actually gave a dimension to this that created fearfulness.
He had a fearfulness before he passed.
Yes.
It wasn't. I'll explain another time, but there was a terrible horror before he passed.
Right, because I know I'm fit. That's why Ivy's bringing him by the hand. I know there is fearfulness. I know that COVID is around this, but also, please, right, he is referring to conditions that he had prior to, almost as if I want to go over a 5-year period. In other words, life had been difficult for him health-wise, but also circumstances where he lived and that social aspect of his life.
Yeah, he couldn't get out like he used to.
And you understand also, please, before you just said that he was bringing through a stubbornness in his independence. And perhaps he could have asked for more help, and that might have alleviated aspects of life if he had, in other words, if he had perhaps even understood himself.
We understand. We understand.
Yeah. So he's bringing all that forward, and because of this pandemic, because of the situation, he wasn't able to have the closeness and the care and the love that perhaps you would have all loved to have given him when he passed. But he is absolutely fine now. Now, I've just got a sense he's playing the mouth organ.
No.
Right, okay, that isn't correct. What are you giving me, darling? What is this?
Yeah, the mouth organ.
There's just this feeling of music, playing piano, someone...
Parties? Could be parties he used to go to when he was younger. The family London parties.
Okay, I can't get past this mouth organ. It almost as if someone has one. Perhaps it's been passed down in the family somewhere.
Right. My father had a mouth organ. He couldn't play it very well, but he had one, and it's been passed down to the family.
Right. Okay, because I wanted. But perhaps he just wanted to bring something in that's been passed down, okay? And of course, this gentleman too that had the mouth organ may well be coming. There's a sense, please, of Fred. Can you take Fred, please?
I personally can, yes.
Yes, Fred is in spirit, please, and saying hello. And you can also understand Mary, please.
Yes.
Yes. I just feel as if they're having a party here. Today is a party day, they're saying.
Yeah.
You know, when we finished our divine service, we're all going to go and get changed. We're all going to get our party frocks and blowers and hats and whatever. We're all going to perhaps be shouting at a TV screen later, and we're all going to come together. Or we're all going to come together. And, you know, whoever I'm with right now in terms of receiving all these messages is that, you know, we love a good party, always loved a good party in the family. Yeah. And when we had a good party, we all actually, and this gentleman would have been included in these parties. We always had plenty of food on the table, almost to excess. And I've got a lady here that would have made jam tarts, sponge puddings, upside down cake.
His wife.
Right, okay. And this would be she wouldn't just make one cake, she would have made 2, 3 or 4 cakes. It's like there's such an abundance of good food and fancy food as well. So we're going to have a party aspect in our lives later, and take that wonderful party for this memory now. So this gentleman, I'm fine. He's smiling because he didn't have a lot of hair.
It was thinning, yeah.
And he wasn't bothered about his appearance at all.
No, he wasn't, not Liam.
No, wasn't bothered about appearance at all. It's not about with my hair is thinning. Don't let's worry about a thing. And there's this feeling that he did love the old music hall. I've got this sense of the old music hall coming in. And so, you know, let's have a party. So he brings the party for you. So I'm going to just leave his love.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing that in. Just as I know that they step back. I'm very much sensing a young lady. I know this is Cancer. With this young lady, I feel I need to be around 33, 34, no more than 35. It's around that age. I know, please, this is breast cancer. I know that she is vibrant. I know that she is beautiful. I know she kept herself beautiful, and she liked clothes. She liked going shopping. I've got a sense. Jewelry, lots of hairdos, 2 children. So it may be that you, as you come in to talk to me, have 2 children, or she had 2 children, but there's definitely 2 children here. I will work with you and see whether they're boys or girls, or girl and boy. Home is really important. Treatment for the cancer, it feels, please, we were going along quite nicely, successful. And it almost feels as if while the treatment's going on, that this lovely young lady could enjoy life. Life did not stand still for her. If we're talking about parties, parties are good. Parties are very good. So I just want someone okay, so Dominique, you've put, I'm just reading what you've put. So very vibrant, lovely, pretty clothes, hairdos always. Yeah, that's what I want, Dominique. And I want to be somewhere between 33 and 35. So Dominic, if I can work with you. Thank you, Richard, for coming in. She's got 2 children. What about you, Dominic? Are there 2 children that are very significant, please, in the family? Because you're saying this lady would have been a nan. If I can come back to you, Dominic. Yes, home very important, and treatment. That's what I want, Dominique. Parties always in the family. That's right. What about the 2 children, Dominique? I do feel as if I've got a girl and a boy that would be important. Something may well be going on with the 2 children. Right, then I'm just going to, no, I will, okay. I'm just waiting to see with Dominique. Thank you, Hannah, for speaking up. Would you, Hannah, understand? So, Dominic, I'm just waiting to see if you can reply for 2 children. She had a girl and a boy. Ah, there we go. That's what I want, Dominic. So I'm going to work with Dominic. Thank you, everyone else, please, that has responded to me. Definitely a girl and a boy. And Dominic is talking about a lovely lady who was 35, who had treatment and finally passed with cancer. But the treatment was going along quite nicely. And yes, with Dominique there, it's Dominique's nan, and we're understanding that she was well dressed, she loved having her hairdos, she was a beautiful lady, and there are aspects between the 2 children or the 2 young people that are very important that's going on in the life at the moment. And so this lovely lady would bring this, not just as evidence, but her love and care for the 2 children, to 2 young people. So, Dominique, I need to just have from her that message for you. What I'm going to say, Dominique, is that, you know, we do have turbulent times, but you're a coper. You're someone that doesn't make light of what goes on around you, but you get on with what's going on around you. You deal with it. You deal with it because you have a belief in the spirit world. You work with spirit and you feel truly blessed by the connection with spirit. I know that you read also because I'm being shown books, so I know that you read and you have been reading aspects of spirituality, and there is also Eastern philosophy here as well. So you do not refine your reading just to what we might say the history of spiritualism. You actually look at the diversity of where spirit can bring evidence of this survival of life in Eastern philosophy. And also, I want to say that you have travelled as well. You've just confirmed for me this turbulent time. And yes, you're dealing with it because you have this wondrous belief in spirit. And also you're saying the connection with this lovely lady as she comes in. Now, as she comes in, you understand her vibrancy. You understand that she, not only did she experience life, but she searched for life. She found life in everything that was or could show life. In other words, you know, going out, enjoying nature, having friends, creating, getting together. So I know that you'll understand as she comes in that she brings this love of people, love of those that were around her, family, yes, but friends as well. And so do continue with your books. You're doing a master's degree and reading spiritual stuff too. So continue in this reading, in your endeavors, your search for greater spirituality, but also to bring this spirituality to others. So I do know that you will be perhaps running classes, perhaps running a circle, running a group. Keep going, even if there are turbulent times. Keep focus on the road ahead. Keep focus with your nan beside you, and that focus that you have truly, and those spiritual gifts that you understand and that you share with others. You said to me here she had a big love of people. Well, the biggest love right now, of course, is for you, Dominique. She brings her love. So thank you for working with me. Thank you for allowing her love to come forth for you, knowing that you will share this love with her and feel her love and feel her connection always as you work with others and give service to Spirit. Thank you so much for working with me, Dominique.
Can we just have either finish or have one more, Dorothy, please?
I just want to say one more here because, lovely, because I've just got a young man. I've got a young man. He rode a motorbike. He's got this helmet on. He's got his leather jacket on. He's got the full protective. He's going to call it regalia because it was very important to him. He didn't ride this motorbike until he had this regalia, and it wasn't going to be second hand. So I wonder whether in fact the bike might have been second hand, but certainly what he's wearing, it had to be new. All right, so he's got all the right gear. Now, he's not letting me know at the moment how he passed. It's all about being on this motorbike. It's all about the speed. It's about life. It's being out on the open road. It's being about living life to the full. Does anybody please just understand?
Here? Yes, I've got a lady in the church here, Kelly.
Good, because I felt I was in church there. Kelly, he's not bringing forward. I don't believe he passed with anything to do with this motorbike. This is him as a character. I have this feeling, please, and would you understand this, that he had a condition. There was something else that was going on with him, almost
yes.
as if he knew that this was why being on this motorbike out on this open road was so important to him, because it was being able to deal with a condition that he had to live his life to the full. Does that make sense?
Yes, and there's also a gentleman in the church here as well that can accept it.
Right. So to define where I need to be, what I do know is, this condition was actually involving my stomach. This could be something like Crohn's disease. This could be something of a digestive disorder.
He had, with the gentleman, he had cancer. Kelly? No, Kelly doesn't understand that.
Right. So if I'm feeling this digestive disorder, then I must be with your gentleman here. I felt it was something like Crohn's disease. It must have been then the cancer. So please accept that I didn't get that quite right, but I know that you can accept with the cancer, stomach, intestine, this was getting progressively worse. But you understand it was all about being on that motorbike, all
yes.
about living life to the full.
Very
and
much
also
so.
You'd understand that the leather suit was new. It was brand new.
Yes.
Yes, brand new. The bike might be in second hand, but that leather gear, and I'm going to call it gear, leather gear, was brand new. He comes to you today in all his gear, all right? And so he says, thank you so much for being able to be in the church today. And it's lovely to pass my love and all my best wishes on to everyone. Thank you so much for working with me.
Thank you. He says, thank you very much. Dorothy, thank you very much for this morning. I hope you have a good afternoon, cheering away either the football or the tennis, whichever you're going to do. and we send our love and blessings to you for a wonderful morning. Thank you. Just going to have a few adverts and I'll ask you to close with prayer. Richard, adverts for this coming day and this week and stuff? It's a brunch during tomorrow. Advert's gone up on the screen. That will give you all the information. It's some fantastic time it is. I didn't actually acknowledge I was there last week, but I actually watched in for a while and they all did have some fun. Matt and Kirsty tomorrow? No? Yep, Matt and Kirsty Monday evening. Is it 8 o'clock? Yeah. And Jackie, which is not actually an advert for Spiritual Psychics TV, but Richard helps produce this. We've got our friendship club here at the church on Zoom and spiritual picnic as well. And I can't thank enough Richard, James and Spiritual Psychics TV for all the work they're doing, not only for Wimbledon Church, but the whole spiritual movement they're doing. He does a grand job. And thank you, Richard. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Funny enough, I think my Ashley and Kieran are going to talk to you about some stuff as well. And I keep threatening to come down to Pompey and have a cup of coffee with you as well, so that'd be trouble. Yeah, no, we're coming down in the next couple of weeks, Richard, so I will meet up with you. Thank you all very much for being here. It's been a lovely morning. I've just received from my phone today some more pictures from the wedding yesterday, and it does I have to say, it was beautiful. It really does. She wore a mauve wedding dress, and it was gorgeous. It really was. It was something out of the Gone with the Wind type of dress, and it was really quite gorgeous. So I thank you all very much. And Sharon's saying thank you for her message, and Phil is as well, and Jackie and I for the one with the man in London. He was challenging man at the end of his life, if I can say that. He passed away, and then about 3 or 4 days later we had lockdown, and he would have hated it. But today with football and the tennis, and he would have loved. He really would. He would have been mad with the football. So thank you. Well, Dorothy, could I ask you to close our meeting with prayer?
Thank you. Okay. So please join me as we close in prayer. Father God, we thank you for our homes and our families. We thank you for life itself, all that we're able to experience within life, all its joys, all that we can anticipate that will come forth, and even perhaps we can anticipate enjoying the events of today. And perhaps we may well thank you for perhaps a party later and being able to raise a glass or two in a celebration. We thank you that we have this knowledge and wisdom within spiritualism. We have an anchor. We've got this wondrous philosophy that we know that we cannot die. And with that, we know that we can focus our attention within love to living. And so we thank you, dear Father, that we can live in truth. We can live in the beauty of love, and we can live with purpose as we serve you, we serve spirit, we serve consciousness and all mankind. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Dorothy, for a wonderful Sunday morning. As I say, have a blessed afternoon. Enjoy whatever you're going to do, and don't drink too much water. To everybody here and out in the virtual world, I bid you a good morning and a good afternoon. Stay safe, stay in touch with Spiritual Psychics TV, and keep the faith, friends. God bless. Bye-bye.